Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic / Non-Classic. This is episode 526 and 434. Yes, this is a Comic Corner. Two Superior Spider-Man trades, books 5 and 6. First up, it's book 4, Necessary Evil, which contains issues 17 and 21, written by Dan Slott, with artwork by Ryan Stegman and Gustavo Kamali. There are at least 2 stories in here. Well, actually about 3, because the first 3 issues are a 3-parter, and issues 20 and 21 are standalone issues. As you see in the cover, issue 1719 is the return of Spider-Man 2099 for the first time in nearly 20 years. Now, for new readers, there was a slight problem when this character was brought back. New readers had no idea who the heck Spider-Man 29 is. I mean, did Slott bother to mention like who he is, what his backstory, what his origin story is? Nope, didn't bother to do that. It's like, oh, here's Spider-Man 2099 for you, and some stuff happening in his own time. And I'm sure new readers are like, what's going on? Who is this Spider-Man 2099? And who is Miguel O'Hara? A lot of people ask that question. And thank God the following year, when Spider-Man 29 got his own spin-off title, that was finally explained. Thank you, Peter David, for finally doing that. And also, the whole point of the 3-parter is just following up what happened at the events of Age of Ultron. Timeline being shattered, so Tiberius Stone, well, Tyler Stone anyways, well, Miguel O'Hara's biological father is pretty much being erased. There's like dots all over him here and there. And so he sends Miguel back in time to save, well, to figure out what was the problem was. Turns out he had to save his father, Tiberius Stone, a guy who made his debut in the pages of Iron Man, and yet for some reason Slott made him a recurring character in the pages of Spider-Man comics. No idea why, just that's the way he is. Also, he had been sort of, well... Also, I forgot to mention this in the last review. When they started the whole thing of, well, Spider-Man, like right after the 3-parter, when Spider-Man got his own base operations, they had this Superior month where, yeah, a bunch of the Spider books dealing with the whole Superior stuff. Like there was a launch of at least 3 new titles: Superior Spider-Man Team Up, Superior Forces Spider-Man, and Superior Carnage. That was a 5-issue miniseries. Also had an annual which tied into it. I mean, they even had issues 7 and 8 of Morbius Volume 2. Which, after those 2 issues came out, the following issue was the last issue of that comic book. Because no one wanted to buy Morbius. No idea why, but that's the way it was. But yeah, it was new chapter in Spider-Man. It's a new chapter in Spider-Man's life, and they still have the whole thing with the Spider stuff here. And apparently, he got chastised for not catching the Hobgoblin. Readers know what happened to him. He became the Goblin Knight. And he was a Goblin Knight for pretty much the rest of the series. He was Goblin Knight for quite a while. I would say up into the pages of Silk, which kind of basically got rid of them. Anyways. Yeah. So, they fixed the whole stuff, and he disappears for a little while. Yeah, it's actually explained. It's been like retcon in a way, at least expanded upon, like what exactly happened. Like, it's like, I'm Doctor... Wait, what's going on? Where am I? Yeah. That little scene of him disappearing, yeah, that was later explained the following year thanks to the events of Spider-Verse. Yep, Spider-Verse expanded that plot thread. They also started a plot thread that started here that would not be explained for 3 years. What plot thread is that? Dr. Octopus's grave being empty. Yeah, that would not be explained for 3 years when it was revealed that Ben Reilly dug up his grave and cloned him. Yeah. That took 3 years to explain, while the whole thing with him saying that line, where his suit looks very much more damaged than once before. Yeah, that's actually explained thanks to Spider-Verse. So Slott set up 2 plot threads. One of them got paid off the following year. The other one took at least 3 years to pay off that plot thread. Yep. And that's simply what. And of course, Miguel himself became sort of a recurring character in the series from this point forward. I think after this, I know he's absent from the next. He does come back in Goblin Nation, But yeah, after this three-parter, he's not seen again to Goblin Nation. Next, of course, is the issue that everybody hated. Yeah, it's probably the most despised issue of the whole series, aside from issue number 9. Also, issue 19 does start the downfall of the series. Well, starting at the end of the series with Peter Parker getting out of this thing that he's been in for like 10 issues now. Issue 20 really took a lot of people off when it came out. Why? Because Spider-Man punched Black Cat in the face and knocking one of her teeth out. Yeah, this set up something that will go on for 5 years. Yeah, 5 years. Of course, after this, the following year, we had Black Cat become a crime boss for 4 years. Yeah, because what happened in issue 20, this would not be reconciled for 5 years. Yeah, everybody hated it when this issue came out, and as far as I heard, he was not receiving death threats for this. He was getting heavy criticism for it, yes, but not death threats, thank God. He did get death threats for issue 700. 21 is the return of Stunner for the first time since the Clone Saga. So, like Miguel O'Hara, first time since the 90s, anybody seen this character? Excuse me a minute. Sorry about that. Yeah, and also Peter Parker's getting his doctorate in here. The one guy calls him, I think he's trying to steal from Dr. Octopus. Yeah, and he uses a hologram to sort of fool him that, yeah, apparently Peter Parker was an assistant and child prodigy, the assistant to Dr. Octopus. And he also meets up with the actual woman who is Stunner. Yeah, and apparently she's been in a coma since the 90s. Oh, and also there's a nice little Easter egg to the second Dr. Octopus, Dr. Carolyn Trainer. Yep. Yeah, apparently somehow Stunner found her, well, a building owned by her. Somehow, it's never properly explained. Maybe you should remember from all the virtual reality stuff that they pulled in the Clone Saga. Yep. But yeah, with the exception of what happened in issue 20, everything here is pretty good. I give this book a 9 out of 10. Though I would say that issue 20 probably is the most controversial issue of the whole series. 9 was people a little bit upset, but pretty much everyone was upset of how that issue, when that issue came out. Right? Next up is Volume 5, Supieror Venom, containing issues 22, 26, and number 1. Written by Dan Slott and Crystal Gage, with artwork by Javier Rodriguez, Humberto Ramos with Marcus Martin. 22-25 is the Supieror Venom storyline. Yep. With pretty much falling like right after the events of the Venom comic book, which just recently got canceled. As for why it got canceled, this title was the reason why. Because Venom and Scarlet Spider were beating this title in the sales. You want to know why this title was being beaten in the sales? Because people hated what Marvel did to Spider-Man. The whole thing with Dr. Octopus and the whole characters written like complete buffoons. Well, Jay apparently some people forget though, Jay kind of started noticing that Peter's acting differently. As for May, it's like, oh, everything is so hunky-dory with him. Yep. Also, he returns to Betty Brant. Oh, yeah, Betty Brant came back in the last book. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, Betty Brant came back and returned to Bugle and still works Bugle this very day. Of course, Nora Winters left Daily Bugle, was let go, and she was never seen a Spider-Man comic ever again. Yep. So we have this 4-parter, which also sees the return of Crimass, though this revealed to be just an imposter. Jesus Christ, it's like the second time this video I'm trying to do something, and anyways, what was I saying? Oh yes, yeah. But they bring Flash Times, but do have something that actually is a good thing. Yeah, Oxbody comes up with the artificial legs for Flash Thompson, which he still has this very day. So thank you, Oxbody, for doing that. Yep. And of course, this was a brief period of time. Also, I've got to mention this in the opening issue when they opened up Parker Industries, which, yeah, this storyline juiced it. Yeah, in the opening issue, one person brought this up. Yeah, this is definitely indeed true. Anna Marie and Peter Parker have sex in the planetarium. I'm not kidding. That's basically what happened. Though this is happening off panel, mind you. Yep. But yeah, it's implied they had sex. Yeah, I don't really know why Slot thought this was a good idea to do. I mean, yeah, I don't have a problem with characters having sex, but when it comes completely out of nowhere like that, yeah, that kind of is a bit jarring. But yeah, of course, Oxbody gets a chance to take a joyride with the Venom symbiote. And comes up with a bullcrap reason what the heck he's been up to, like some kind of micro thing mentioning back in issue 4 Venom. Yeah, it's all bullcrap. Oh yeah, and also Dan Slott knows not the right Iron Man to get complete buffoon because even he knows about that. I don't think he's written in the past as far as I can tell. I don't remember if he has or not, but yeah, he written to be smart. Also, they mentioned stuff with Civil War that he knew that Karnak who he really is. And he also, yeah, I got a little bit paranoid after the events of Secret Invasion, so I have this thing of scanning people's brains. So yeah, so Peter Parker quits. The last issue, well, before the annual, is a prelude to Domination. Though I'm a little surprised that they put it through in this trade when it probably would make more sense to put it in the Goblination trade. But I'm not the people. I'm not the charge of people who put these trades together. Yep, which has. First time ever, Norman Osborn's Roger Kingsley, though it's later revealed it's not Roger Kingsley, it's his butler. Yeah, I'm not kidding. So yeah, and also they mentioned the whole thing with Norman Osborn's scar, though for some reason the way Humberto Ramos draws it, instead of being like a cross-shaped thing, like it's no one been depicted, it's for some reason like it kind of looks like a hole in his chest. I don't know why that Humberto Ramos. It's kind of like Humberto Ramos did not know how to draw. Now, I'm surprised no one brought this up, though. Now, let's see if I can find it here. Let's see. Here we go. Here is the scar that Norman Osborn got when he was hit by the Goblin Glider. Yeah, that is not what the scar is supposed to look like. It's a cross-shaped scar on his chest. Apparently, Humberto Ramos did not know what the heck it looked like. Oh yeah, it's some scar. Either nobody at Marvel told him how to do it. Luckily enough that Superior Spider-Man team did fix this, where they have the correct scar on there. But this is not the correct scar on here at all. So, they say, oh yeah. That's a scar where the glider hit him. That is the spot where he was hit. Correct. That is correct. But that is not what the scar is supposed to look like at all. That is incorrect. I'm surprised no one has ever pointed this out. I knew about this for the past few years, so I had a pretty good idea of what the scar looked like, and that's not what the scar is supposed to look like at all. So yeah. At the end of it, they, of course, Roger Kingsley's butler dies, and of course, the franchising thing. Of course, the only reason I went after him was because Osborn was posing as him. Yep. And the annual is just, well, Oxbody versus Blackheart with a brief appearance by Danny Ketch. Yep, Danny Ketch shows up in here. Yeah, it's nice. Of course, Aunt May sees Peter sort of killing Blackheart, though he doesn't stay dead for very long because he's a demon. And of course, they brought the character back, and well, in Bendis' first arc for the Spider-Man comic book, well, just simply titled Spider-Man, the one starring Miles Morales after Secret Wars. Yeah, that's where he showed up next, and then he popped up in the pages of Falcon, where he's back to the original look. Yeah, for some reason, I don't know why this is. Apparently, they thought that this is what some artists thought this is what Blackheart looks like. Yeah, I look at him and I'm like, no, that is not the correct appearance of Blackheart. Blackheart is a black-skinned demon. This is some vampire. Yeah, another error, basically. Apparently, people who drew Spider-Man comics did not know what the heck Blackheart's supposed to look like at all. I mean, Blackheart is supposed to be the son of Mephisto. looking up the artist, looking up Sarah Pacelli, the artist for the Spider-Man comic, which is now gone back to original numbering. Looking up, she actually fixed this problem. It's like, oh yeah, apparently Humberto Ramos does not, and who's the artist for this annual? The artist for the annual is Javier Rodriguez. Yeah, apparently he does not know what Blackheart is supposed to look like at all. Here he kind of looks like some random white vampire. It's kind of, yeah, I don't really know why in the world. Oh yeah, they say, oh yeah, he's half demon, so he's immune to sunlight. Last time I checked, with the exception of vampires, no demon is affected by sunlight at all. It's like Slot went out of his way. Actually, it's Christmas Gage. It's like Christmas Gage went out of his way to write Blackheart as a vampire. I get the fact vampires are former demons, but come on. This random white vampire is not Blackheart at all. It's just some guy who just thinks he's Blackheart. Trust me, I know what Blackheart looks like. He's a character first pop pages of Daredevil. But yeah, with the exception of those two errors, the stories in here are really good. So we have a Blackheart. Oh yeah, they even mentioned the other villain Blackheart, who is got lightning bolt on his head. Yeah, I thought that was so funny that they mentioned him. Yeah, a guy who's died twice, and yet somehow he's still around. I thought that was so funny. But because of those two errors, I'm going to downgrade this to an 8.5. Yeah. First for Alberto Ramos not know what Norman Osborn's Goblin's his glider scar is supposed to look like. But it's supposed to be a cross-shaped scar across his chest. That is what the scar is supposed to look like. Not some hole in his chest. And of course, Blackheart having the incorrect appearance. Yeah, that's what took it down to 8. Normally I would give this 9.5 because the stories here are really good. It's just that do I take points off for the odd panel sex between Peter Parker and Anne Marie? No, that's fine. It's a bit jarring, but it's not a big hurdle. But yeah, 8.5 out of 10. Not bad. It just has some problems. Alright, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for episode 527 and Doubleshot number 435, where I'll cover the last book of the Superior Spider-Man series and the first of 3 trades I have for the Chronicles of Conan series, which collect the Conan the Barbarian comic book published by Marvel. That was published at this point through DC. Excuse me. Despite the fact Marvel recently got back to license this particular comic book just last year, and the last comic book, the Wonder Woman Conan comic, is ending this month. Yep. So yeah, until we see you in the next episode. Bye.